Myanmar is ramping up COVID-19 testing as it enters a critical phase in combating a new wave of infections. Nearly 900 new cases and 30 new deaths have been reported. 200,000 additional test kits are set to be deployed as total cases surge past 10,000. State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi is urging people not to be alarmed as testing will lead to more cases being detected. The government had previously said it expects infections to hit 16,000 by the end of the month. Naypyidaw has also extended its travel ban on foreigners until the end of October.
LEONG joins us now for more on this story. Good evening, Waikit. How is the country's healthcare system coping with this surge?
Well, Dawn, not very well, because there are many signs to show that, the country's healthcare system is starting to crack under pressure. I mean, apart from the obvious fact that medical teams would be overworked, the facilities that the authorities use in Myanmar to house quarantine centers, that's also starting to be quite stressed up because, it's all hands on deck. Recently, the Myanmar army opened up its military hospitals to treat for the first time civilians. A prominent stadium in Yangon was turned into a makeshift quarantine center. So really, many of these makeshift buildings to help with that surge. But it's not going to be easy because local media have reported that some buildings are not suitable for such quarantine because there's lack of electricity, there's lack of water, and in some places, because of the lack of space, people have to share rooms while waiting for the COVID test results. Having said that, the Myanmar authorities are very determined to uncover as many COVID-19 cases as possible. They do not want people to stay at home and treat themselves. They want people to come forward. So in Yangon recently, they've set up what's known as no-smell centers. So if you don't smell anything, if you cannot taste anything which are symptoms of COVID-19, they want people to go to those centers and get examined. The idea, the authorities keep telling people, is that everyone should bite the bullet, come out, get treated, and then get quarantined and ride this through. Recently, of course, the Myanmar government has reduced the mandatory 3-week quarantine period to 2 weeks so that they can clear as many people as possible.
Waikit, election campaigning in Myanmar has taken a back seat as authorities focus on fighting COVID-19, but work is underway for citizens outside the country to cast their votes. Is that right?
Well, that's right. In fact, earlier today, I just came back from the Myanmar embassy in Singapore. It's no longer taking visitors because it's all hands on deck. The team is now preparing for voting in Singapore, which is slated to start on October 1st to October 18th. Elsewhere in the world, in Thailand, South Korea, Japan, Malaysia, they're also preparing for overseas votes. And these are, if you look at it, these numbers may not seem to be significant because if you compare that to the bigger picture, Myanmar has 37 million eligible voters, but ballot papers have been sent overseas. The number is around 100,000. So numbers-wise, they're not significant. However, this is a very critical group for the NLD-led government because as one Myanmar expert based in Singapore recently published in a commentary, she said that in the 1990 and in the 2015 general elections, the votes from overseas did swing in NLD's favor. Now, this COVID-19 pandemic has led Ms. Aung San Suu Kyi to reach out to these overseas Myanmar citizens, something that the previous government has failed to do. People have been saying that Myanmar citizens overseas have been neglected for a while. Now, the fact that Ms. Aung San Suu Kyi is bringing them back via relief flights, because like you said earlier, Steve, Naypyidaw has locked down the country. No commercial flights are able to land, but there are special flights catered just to these Myanmar citizens who've lost their jobs and who are stranded. And this move, while it can be seen as a goodwill move on the part of the NLD government, it can also be interpreted as a very good publicity exercise that would bode well for the NLD-led government.